we will discuss about sorting materials into groups. So we group the materials on the basis of their characteristics properties. So what are the characteristics properties by which the materials are to be grouped? As you know that we cannot use a sheet of paper to make the vessels to cook the food, or we cannot make a tumbler by using clothes to keep the liquid in it, because it is not their property which helps them to do the things. So we have to understand the properties of the materials and we classify them. So different properties of materials are like, first one is the appearance. Appearance means the luster. Luster, or that is called as the shining property. Second one is the hardness. That means which one is hard or soft. Third one is soluble or insoluble. Fourth one, whether the given material will be float or sink. And the fifth one is transparency. So these are the 5 properties on which we classify the materials. Now, what is luster? In order to understand the lustrous properties of the materials, let us do one activity. Here we have collected few materials. One is cardboard, then a piece of paper, one chalk, then one iron nail, here one iron nail, then a copper wire and a aluminium foil. Now if I'll ask you to classify these materials on the basis of their lustrous property, means the shining property, out of which you have to separate the things that are shining. So easily, if you will compare, you see, look to this cardboard. Does it shine? No. So we will make it, or will separate this cardboard from this group. Now look to this piece of paper. Does it shine? No. That means it does not show the lustrous property. So we will keep them into an separate groups. Now look to this piece of chalk. Does it shine? No. So this also come under non-lustrous group. Now look to this aluminium foil. Does this aluminium foil shows the shining properties or the lustrous? Yes. So this property of materials of shining or having the luster is called lustrous property. So we will make this into one group. Now look to this iron nail. Does this iron nail shine? You will say no, it does not shine. Now, but you look to this. Sometimes what happens, this iron when exposed to air and water, they lose their this shining. Part of the iron nail is shining, as this is rubbed with a sandpaper. In the same way, look to this copper glass. Look to this part of the cup. Does it shine? Does this part has shining properties? No. It has lost its shining property. But what I have done, now look to this part. Look. If you look it carefully, you can find this part is more shining comparing to this part. So this is also a shining. So this will come under lustrous property. In the same way, look to this copper. These copper wires are generally you can find in the wire. These are also shining. Then here you can find the aluminium. These aluminium wire, they are also shining. So a piece of, see again another piece of iron. Here one part I have made it shining, the other part is still looking dull. So in this way we can classify the materials into two groups. Those who are shining, they will be said to be under lustrous property, and those who are not shining, they are non-lustrous property. Now the second properties of materials is hardness. When you press different materials with your hands, some of them may be hard to compress. Look, they are very hard to compress. These are hard to compress, while some of them are easy. They can be easily compressed. Look, easy to compress. Some of them are easy to compress. Yes or no? Some of them are very easy to compress, while some of them are very difficult to compress. Now, in order to find out the hardness, we cannot compress all the things by using our hand. So, what we have to do? We have to compare the hardness or softness by doing one activity. Let us do the activity. For doing this activity, we need a piece of wood, a piece of rock, then chalk, iron nail, a metal key. Next, what we will do? Now what we will do? We will take this iron nail and we will, now by taking this iron nail, what we will do? We will try to scratch on this wood with the help of this iron nail. Now look to this. You can find the scratch mark. So the object which gets scratched on rubbing the two bodies against each other, the body which gets scratch mark will be called as the less hard, or we can say, if we compare between the nail and the wood, we can say that the wood is soft than that of the iron. Clear? Now the same way you take, now we'll take this and we'll try to scratch the rock with the help of this iron nail. We get some scratch marked on it or not? That means if we'll compare between the iron nail and the rock, this piece of stone or the rocks is soft than that of this. Clear? Now you look to this. Here this chalk, it can be, you get a marked on it or not, a scratch marked on the chalk. That means if we compare between these two, then this is soft than that of this iron nail. So from this, what we get conclude? We get conclude that materials which can be compressed, which can be the materials which can be compressed or scratched easily. Look to this, compressed or scratched easily are called soft, while some other materials which are difficult to compress, other materials which are difficult to compress or scratched easily. Okay, now we'll start doing this activity in order to find the soluble or insoluble. For this, I have taken some amount of sand in one container, and in another container I have taken some amount of salt. Okay, you can do this activity by taking some other materials like sugar, sawdust or chalk powder, like that. Now as I have taken the two bowl, and in that two different things, for that I have taken two glasses containing equal amount of the water. Now I am going to dissolve some amount of sand in the first glass. Now let us put this and stir it. Okay, stir it, and now we'll leave that, and we'll see whether the sand get dissolved or not. Let us leave like that. Now we'll add the salt in another glass. So we'll take some salt and we add it into the glass and we stir it. Okay, let us stir completely. Now we'll see which one get dissolved in water. Now you look to both the container, both the glass. Here you can find the salt gets completely dissolved, whereas this, you can find the sand does not get dissolved in the water. It remains at the bottom of the glass. That means so from this what we get conclude? We get conclude that sand is insoluble in water, where the salt is completely soluble in water. So we found that some substance are completely disappeared or soluble in water. So these substances are called soluble in water, while those substances that do not disappear or do not completely get dissolved in the water, they are called as the insoluble in water. For doing this, let us take three things. Here I have taken one coin, a dry leaf, and an iron nail. Now individually we will put them in three different bowls having water. So first put the coin, 1 rupee coin, into a bowl of water and let us see what happens. You see that it completely get this coin is completely sunk into the water. Okay, now let us put the dry leaf into the another bowl. Here you can find the dry leaf is iron nail into that bowl of water. Here also you can see the iron nail is get completely sink into the water. So by doing this, we can find that some objects are floating on water while some are sinking in the water. Now the last properties of the material, that is transparency. So what is transparency? This transparency is divided into three parts. One is transparent, then translucent and opaque. So what is transparent? The objects through which light can pass easily is called the transparent object. And what is translucent? The objects through which light passes partially are called translucent object. And the object which do not allow the light to pass through them are called opaque object. Now we will do one activity in which you will find which objects are transparent, which are translucent and which are opaque. Let us do the activity. So for doing this activity, I have taken a torch and a glass tumbler, a piece of cardboard, then piece of wood, then a transparent plastic and its cover and an oil paper. Okay, now let us pass the light through each of them and what happens, let us identify. So here, whether this is transparent or translucent or opaque, as I told to you that the objects through which light can pass easily. Now you look to this, when we switch on, we can find that light is passing through it easily. You can find light is passing through it easily. Yes or no? Light is passing through it easily. So the objects through which light can pass easily is called as the what? Transparent object. Okay. Now look to this. This is a plastic container. Now we'll pass light through this. So now you can see light can pass easily. Are you able to see or not? The torchlight can pass easily through this. So look, the light can pass easily. That is why this is a transparent object. Now coming to this, the cover of that container. Now when we allow light to pass through it, now the light does not pass completely. You see, the light passes partially. Are you able to see? The light passes partially. So this is called as the what object? This is called as the translucent object. Now take to this. This is an oil paper. So now this oil paper, so now we'll allow light to pass through it. You look, the light does not pass easily through this oil paper. Okay, complete light does not pass through this oil paper. So for more examples of this, like translucent or ground glass, muddy water. Okay, now you can see this total light does not pass through it. So this is a what? This is a translucent object. Now last one. Look to this. Does the light pass through it? Does the light pass through it? Look, here this is the light and I have kept the cardboard over it, but it does not pass. That means this object is what? This object is opaque. So the objects through which light cannot pass at all is called as the opaque, like cardboard. Now look to this wood. Look, I am passing the light, but the light does not pass. So this wood will be called as the opaque object. So in this way we can classify the materials on these three groups. So materials are grouped together on the basis of their similarities and differences in their properties. So after studying all these properties, now we can able to classify the materials on the basis of these properties. Thank you.